Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general mid-month reading for the sign of Virgo, Sun, Moon and Descendant for the last 2 weeks of December. I hope you will. The shock of saying December still hasn't left me yet. I keep being surprised every time I say it. Still, 2021 is upon us, and on that note, I have put together, or I am rather at the moment, putting together a 6-month overview for all the signs from January to June 2021, obviously. If that is something that you're interested in, the link is in the description box below. The Virgo one is not up yet. I'm on with them and I'm uploading them, but they will be coming. So, and they'll be up for ages anyway, so you know, there's no hurry. Anything? No, I think that's everything. Yeah. Let's have a look and see what your energy is doing at the moment. Can I have 3 cards for Virgo, please? This is the first one. So the first one is 5 of Pentacles. Okay. Oh, we've 2 out together here. High Priestess, which is Pisces energy, and 7 of Cups. And one more for Virgo, please. Oh, Virgo. We've got the Hermit in reverse. Right. Try not to pull any clarifiers for this, but you know what I'm like, I just break my fucking rules all the time. So, your current energy is difficult. It is the 5 of Pentacles. Now, all of the 5 energy cards talk about disruption. They can talk about loss. They can talk about all sorts of things. But they talk about change. Sometimes adjustment to change as well, if it's not forthcoming. But it does talk about not really meeting your own needs. Ultimately, it can talk about feeling abandoned and alone and all these sorts of things. And, you know, that it's very common at this time of year anyway, but obviously with what's happened with you this year, it seems to be even sharper than it would be ordinarily. At this point, actually, I just want to say, if you need to reach out to anyone, right, please do that. Reach out to Samaritans or whatever the US equivalent of that is, because there are people out there who will listen. There are people out there that will lend an ear where you need to bend one, you know, and don't be afraid of doing that. So with that said, it's really difficult energy. And it's followed up here by the High Priestess and the 7 of Cups. Now, the High Priestess is, you know, she's a channel. She holds all the knowledge and she knows how to apply it. There's wisdom there, right? But what's more pertinent here is both the knowledge of the internal space, but also the fact that this is not an active card. This is a very passive card, surpassed actually only by the Hanged Man. In terms of lack of activity, she has all the answers, but she does not move. She does not offer them, you know, freely. The fact that it's come out here with the 7 of Cups makes me feel like, and I'm drawn to the fact straight off the bat that the crows in these 2 cards are in exactly the same position. You see that there? What I heard when those 2 cards came over was you just don't know what the fuck you want. Like, you've got no idea what it is that you want. You know you want something, you know that something is missing, but you have no idea what it is and you don't know how to get a hold of it. Yeah. It's like there are all sorts of possibilities for you, but ultimately none of the cups contain whatever it is that would make this go away. Certainly not as you perceive them at the moment. Have a look. I said I wasn't going to pull any clarifiers, but here we are, right? Tell me about this High Priestess and 7 of Cups, please. There's so much emotion in here, but you're not thinking logically about it at the moment. We've got the Five of Cups, you know, absolutely understandable that you would be in this Five of Cups energy here with the Five of Pentacles. Both of them talk about loss, loneliness, abandonment, bereavement, possibly sometimes, but certainly grief, and certainly a lack of connection. Now, we've got two Queens that have come out to clarify this High Priestess and the Seven of Cups, but look at that. One the right way up, one the wrong way around. Not the wrong way around, inverted. Okay, so we've got the Queen of Cups. Got so much emotion. So much emotion. And nowhere to direct it is the problem. You know, you've got all of these cups here. And there's all sorts of things in those cups. All sorts of possibilities, but you don't want any of them because they're not this cup. And it's the cup that you lost. It's the cup that you want back. Notice how her gaze is absolutely fixed on that cup. She sees nothing else around her, just as this chap here sees nothing else around him because he's looking at that one there. And then we've got the Queen of Swords. Now the Queen of Swords is your friend in an awful lot of situations. So she's she's sometimes considered to be a little bit cold because she puts emotion to one side and she considers, you know, the logic and the reason and the, you know, or the intellectual aspects of things. For me, she is the kind of the chief sifter of information, right? So the page will newly discover this thing, that the knight will bring it to the queen, right? The transmission of information and whatnot. And then the queen sifts through it and she goes, oh, that's no good. I'm not going to deal with that. This is, I'm going to keep that to the side, you know. And the way, you know, I've got this kind of hierarchical narrative going, eventually she will present all of this to the king so the king can make the final arbitration, you know, of one side over another. But she takes in all of this information and she looks for the truth of it all. She puts the information, she puts the emotion to one side. What I see here is an absolutely overwhelming engulfing of emotion over you and no ability to be able to sift it, right? No ability to be able to apply reason to any of it, and you can't because there's so much emotion going on here. It's pretty discombobulating. I just feel a little bit suffocated just looking at the cards that are on the table at the moment. It's like my heart keeps trying to reach up and strangle my throat. I've never really noticed how similar these queens are before, you know, as I'm looking at it upside down. You know, they have similar robes. Both got white dresses and they've both got blue robes with white patterns. And the skies are the same behind them. Like, there's a lot to connect these two here, but at the moment they are disconnected. And it's possible that you're not able to communicate this, you're not able to speak to anybody about this. And so you just keep staring at the cup. The final card in your current energy is the Hermit in the reverse. Now, in some ways, and it's possible to see this, if this would come up for a different sign, I would say, well, you've done your internal contemplation, you've been still, you've let the answers come up, and now you're choosing to leave the cave, if you will. But because it's you and because this is your card, it actually feels like disempowerment to me. It feels a little bit like loss. And the reason I said it could apply the other way around is because, you know you're stuck in the cave and you would like to get out, but you're not quite sure how to do it. Or it's disempowerment. It could be both, quite honestly. Let's pull a clarifier and see what that has to say. Tell me about the Hermit in reverse, please. Yeah, I mean, so actually both apply. we've got the Four of Pentacles, and that talks about holding on to things too tightly. It talks about needing to release things and having not yet done it yet. And then we've got the Chariot in reverse. Absolutely a card of disempowerment, not having any direction, not having any drive, not feeling victorious in anything, you know, very much the same as this here. The thing is, I do sense a pang of wanting to get out of this. It's not just like it's not like you've just completely submitted to it and gone, well, this is my fucking life now. I can't do anything else. There's more than that going on here. But there are so many things around that aren't the thing that you want. It's like things are just like echoes, they're just shades of things that used to have meaning. And wheeling between feeling completely numb and like my throat's closing up. It's really, really difficult. Very difficult energy, right, Virgo? Let's have a look and see. You know, as these mid-month readings are all about looking for the lesson in the energy that you're in at the moment. It's hard to conceive of a reason why you would need to be stuck in this energy. You know, what lesson you could possibly want to learn off the back of it, but we will look at it anyway. What's the lesson for Virgo, please? What does Virgo need to know? Thank you. Well, Virgo, it's kind of a big message here. We've got the Seven of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. That talks about an unsatisfactory situation, right? You know that. You absolutely know that. Things are not good. Maybe they're not good financially, but they're certainly not good in any other respect either, right? They might be okay financially, and that might be just helping you bob along, but ultimately, you know, everything else is gone. But it's followed by the Justice card. Now, when we see that, that is talking about really big lessons to be learned in one way or another. And the lesson here for you is balance, Virgo. We've got the Emperor and the Ace of Cups came out together. We've got the Queen of Wands. Did she not come up for you in your last reading as well? I feel like she did. And then we've got the Empress. Now, just before I go into any meanings of cards, like, look at the way that this is set out here. We've got the masculine and the feminine major arcana pair here. Right? That is balance for me. Also note that the Emperor is balanced on a sword there, which is the truth. This Queen of Wands, the Crow is balancing between two lions there, right? She's holding her spot between the two. Crow is balanced on the edge of the cup there with that, right? Balance, balance, balance. This is what it's screaming out. Like, you've gone too far. The one, you know, that way. You need to start coming back now, because you run the risk of losing yourself altogether. You are not yet lost, even if you feel like you are. But there is some really rather practical there are some practical issues to get on top of here. Now, I know I've been saying it a few times now, but if you are not taking care of yourself physically, you are not able to do what you need to do here in the world as you are at the moment. So that includes eating properly, making sure you're properly hydrated. If you're on medication, make sure you're taking that. If you can possibly take some exercise, then also do that too. Okay? Your body is the, you know, vessel that you use to do stuff here. And if you've got important emotional work to do, and you really do here, Virgo, you need to put your body in the best possible position to be able to assist you to do that, right? So, screaming about balance here, right? All the cards screaming about balance. But It's interesting how it's laid out here. Because the only card here that is a lesson, the only lesson card here that is a cup, so talking about emotions, is this Ace of Cups. It is about receiving emotion, right? And opening up to emotion. Now, for some of you, you have got such a strong feeling of guilt associated with whatever this event has been for you that you are reeling from. And I don't know what the cause of it is, but it's not your fault. And a million people have probably told you that, but it's actually true, right? It's not your fault. You're not to hold any guilt about this, because the Ace of Cups is about forgiveness, it's about compassion, it's about acceptance, and all of those things here are directed towards you. No external situation whatsoever. This is all about you. You have closed up almost to yourself emotionally. Certainly to the outside world, but principally to you. This is the only emotional card that's here, right? Your journey here, almost, it feels like your lesson almost, is not about dealing with the emotional stuff that's going on with you at the moment. It's actually everything but. Because we've got fire with the Emperor, we've got fire with the Queen of Wands, we've got earth with the Empress. That's the here and now. That's the material world. That's about living. Now, she's here because she's talking about regaining the will to live, right? That's what the Wands suit to me is all about, right? I see the Ace of Wands particularly. That's that will to live, drive, passion, enthusiasm for things. But here's this Queen balancing on top of two lions, right? And it's about refining the will to live, bringing it in here. And I don't mean like you're all about to commit suicide or anything like that, because we've talked about this before, and it's happened on the live streams actually, that we discussed at length that it is possible to have no desire to do anything even remotely like that, but also not to have a will to live, right? They're two very different things. You can exist without a will to live. And it kind of feels for a lot of you like that's where you are at the moment, right? Regain that. That's the point of the lesson. And it's almost like, despite all of the heavy emotional stuff that you have to deal with, finding that will, bringing it back in whichever way it applies. Because we've got the masculine and the feminine here. The feminine, incredibly creative and abundant and verdant and all of those things, right? But one side of the coin. And then the masculine, remember that we have masculine and feminine attributes and qualities and energy, and life is a constant battle to keep them in line. We don't want to go one way or another. But the Emperor is all about planning, he's about strategy, but he's also about getting things done, right? These are both Aries cards, interestingly. I don't know if you've got an Aries around you who's helping you in some sort of way like this, but this is fire and earth. This is about now. This is about where you are right now. Because it feels to me almost like you're not even interacting with your environment anymore, And that has to be, that's the lesson. This is the lesson, bringing it back to, interacting with your environment, being back in your body again. And almost connecting with your emotions by accident, opening up by accident as you live again in the here and now. Whew. Ouch. For some of you, what's occurred this year is not something that you will ever get over. It's just, they're just not get over situations. I've done enough reading for Virgos this year, personal readings, and heard enough stories this year that for a lot of you this is not something that you ever get over. However, there's a place where it can exist, and you can exist too. Well, you can do more than exist, actually. You can thrive. This is what this is talking about here. And it doesn't make you disloyal, and it doesn't make you, it shouldn't make you feel guilty at all, right? Because you've clearly still got a job to do here, you know? But the lesson is to learn to thrive. The lesson is to learn to live. The lesson is to learn to engage to the point where it isn't a numb autopilot activity anymore, like it actually means something. The lesson is to learn to look for meaning, you know, even when you think there isn't any. This is a really hard lesson, Virgo, and extremely profound. Goodness. Right, let's get you some cards of advice. Some advice for Virgo, please. Oh, there's the first card. We've got the Six of Wands and the Ace of Wands and the Ten of Pentacles. Virgo, look, there it is again. Wands, Wands, Pentacles, fire, fire, earth. It's about you being here and engaging with everything. Like, we've got the Eight of Swords at the bottom of the deck, the Shadow card here. Like, you have kept yourself, you are now keeping yourself trapped. You're not going to wake up one day and everything just be fixed, everything just be fine. That's not how it works. It works slowly and incrementally, and sometimes you have good days, and sometimes you'll have bad days, and sometimes you'll have lots of bad days in a row. But there's always the possibility, that you'll have a good day, and incrementally we can bring that in here, because as you start small, so the momentum comes. Let's just see with the Eight of Wands here, but you need to commit to it. And that's hard. That's hard in the place that you're in, but it is possible for you to find meaning again. You just have to trust. Do you have to trust? Maybe you have to trust. This is a doing over a thinking, right? You can't think your way out of this situation, and by the look of it, you can't feel your way out of this situation either. Look for meaning in the small things, just a little bit every day. Hold on to those. Pull strength from those. And keep putting one foot in front of the other. Okay, Virgo, I'm going to leave it there. I hope that you found something useful here for you, and do know that I love you all so very, very much. Right? Because I do. Right? Take care, and I'll see you soon.